Hi, good afternoon and welcome to this week's vlog. I'm going to spend a bit of time. I was reading a book this week called Immersion by Paul Zak, and what he talks about is it's from a marketing perspective of getting people immersed in the company, a film or something like that. But he also spends a bit of time talking about immersion in the customer experience and how you generate the dopamine hit and therefore love from the customers that you have. And I thought that sounds really interesting. So I wanted to take a bit of time and look at whether treating customers as love is actually worth the money that organisations would perceive they need to spend on it. I guess the first thing in this is looking at the value that customer love brings, and I think the first thing to say here is by loving a customer, it doesn't mean that you always give them what they want. The real kind of way you create this love with a customer is by creating that environment with them and creating a bond and a conversation with them where you know them and they trust you as a person and as an organisation. And if I draw from the chimp paradox, which is Steve Peters' book, and talking about that bit of your brain which is released very quickly and helps with the fight or flight perspective, if at any point in time during a process of engaging with an organisation that bit of your brain starts to come out, that's really where the organisation has failed. And looking at it, how many times have you cursed when your insurance renewal comes and any of those things? And even when you engage with the organisation and they offer you a reduced price, you still feel like you want to walk away. Okay, so assuming we accept the value of creating customers who love you, you then have to look at the cost that might bring to the organisation. And I guess the thing here is, I think fundamentally, people might say that the cost of doing this isn't worth the investment required. But my feeling on this has always been that if the people who work for an organisation both love the services that are delivered and also love working for the organisation, that repartee with the customer will build up and will be delivered, and they will understand that the people they're engaging with within the organisation really love working for it and love serving it. Effectively, fundamentally, and I guess the thing here is, how do you build that within your teams? How do you get them to love the organisation? And being really blunt on this, it's about caring for people, and it's about creating a set of products that people want, and then creating that love for it within the organisation and making your people want to stay. Not driving them by closing down calls quickly and moving on to the next one, not driving them in this way, but allowing them to spend that time working with and talking to customers. So I thought, as part of this, if we accept that it's going to cost something to bring that on board, I thought I'd kind of draw a few things on the return on investment that this might bring to an organisation. A study by McKinsey found that 80% of the value creation achieved by the world's most successful growth companies comes from their core business, mainly unlocking new revenues from existing customers through a very, very distinctive customer experience. Customer support is good. I don't know how many people have been to an Apple Genius bar, for example, and you feel like you've got really good value for money out of that. So I guess the feeling there that driving the adoption of new services through creating a very distinctive experience has an 80% kind of success rate. In terms of loyalty, HubSpot reports that customers are 50% more likely to try new products and spend 31% more compared to new customers if they like the service that's being delivered. And the last one is really a word of mouth marketing. How many people talk about the products that they buy? How many people talk about the things that they have? And word of mouth is identified by 74% of consumers as a key influencer in their purchasing decisions. and brands engaging in word of mouth marketing see an average increase of 5 to 10% in sales annually. How much do you think you'd put into an advertising campaign to drive 5 to 10%? A really interesting question. If that money was spent on driving your customer service reputation and driving that out to the organisation, I think you would see a significant difference. So in conclusion, we quite often see when businesses are in trouble, the first set of people you get rid of is the people out the support engine and the engine that keeps customers satisfied. And that's because very often people don't fail to attach a distinct value to the work that they do. Salespeople are rarely, and at the front end of it, rarely ever let go, because people say, where are the deals going to come from if we haven't got those people in place? I'd argue you almost need to take the opposite approach with this and actually maintain the customer satisfaction at all costs, and then ensure that the salespeople that you have drive from that customer reputation with their customers. And the last bit here, if you've ever slept on a server room floor, and I can volunteer and say I have at points in time, or you've gone above and beyond, and I use the example of a very good friend of mine who gained a commendation from a police force for driving through the value and implementation of a solution that created a huge amount of benefit for the employees he was using. And, if you are prepared to put in the time and prepared to invest, customers will appreciate that and keep coming back. My golden mantra on everything is that if you don't deliver what you've already sold a customer and don't support it well, then you have no right to expect any further business from that customer. I'm really interested in people's views on this. It's something that I hope that's prompted a few kind of questions in people's heads, and be really happy to hear any comments that you might have. Thanks again, and if you like this, subscribe, and I look forward to speaking to you all again in a week's time. Thanks very much. Bye bye.